was in the House of Commons yesterday at Prime Minister's Questions, which started pretty extraordinarily with a long statement by the Prime Minister trying to dig himself out of what is a ever-deepening hole. I mean, I think someone's got a sort of a JCB and they are digging at a ferocious rate. Dan Hodges, I don't know whether you've got him on your show this morning, but he has written an eviscerating piece in the Daily Mail, basically saying, and essentially proving, that the Prime Minister and the government have been caught lying and U-turning on this on multiple occasions. But now we've got these witness statements that have been released. Here is the crucial rub of it, Mike, which is that the government and the Prime Minister have been saying there was no political interference, and now we see within the wording of the witness statement from the Deputy National Security Advisor a direct extract from the Labour Party manifesto of the general election. The very, very identical words, which proves that there was and has been political interference.
Yeah.
Quite extraordinary.
Well, there's no way that we're supposed to be so stupid as to believe the weasel words that have been coming out of the Labour government basically since the weekend. I spotted this on Sunday, right? Bridget Phillipson was out and about on tour, talking to all manner of people. Obviously doesn't ever come on our show. But here's what she said. And when you listen to what she says about Jonathan Powell's involvement, you smell a rat. Have a look.
What I can say today, to be absolutely clear, is that he was not involved in the substance of the case and discussions around that, or the evidence connected to the case. I can give you that reassurance. He did not have those conversations around the substance or the evidence of the case. These are matters for the relevant authorities, the Crown Prosecution Service, and they date back to 2023.
The substance and the relevance of the case. You know, that sounds to me like obfuscation and the telling of untruths.
She's not a lawyer, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Starmer, as we know, is a lawyer, and that language has been very carefully crafted.
Yeah.
They tried to deny that there was any meeting between the National Security Advisor, Jonathan Powell, and others. It turns out there actually was such a meeting. The Prime Minister has refused to release the minutes and notes of those meetings. But given that there was such a meeting, given that direct extracts from the Labour Party manifesto have now appeared in the Deputy National Security Advisor's witness statement, this makes a manure heap smell positively floral and delicious compared to the steaming odour of dung oozing out of this China gate. And I think this will run and run. I was bobbing up and down throughout the whole of PMQs. And the question I wanted to ask, I can reveal to you, was a very simple one. Can the Prime Minister confirm, is China a national security threat, yes or no?
Yeah.
And regrettably, I was not called and therefore was unable to ask the question. But that is the question that needs answering. It's actually quite clear from lots of previous evidence from the previous government, useless though they were on most things, that they did view China as a economic and security threat.
Right. It's true. And I mean, it's very clear as well that, you know, one of the first countries that the Labour government sent ministers to, and multiple times, was China. You know, we know that David Lammy, I think his first port of call was China. I think they even sent Rachel Reeves out there, who came back with less money than they'd given to I think, Peru, to Indonesia, you know. So we are so much in hock to the Chinese that they are clearly too frightened to criticise them in any way, shape or form. And to add insult to injury, not only are they too frightened to criticise them, they're about to give them permission to build this super embassy just on the other side of the river here by Tower Bridge, which is going to include possibly some kind of torture chamber in the basement.
Well, let's just remember, this kowtowing to China started under David Cameron's regime, continued under Theresa May, then under Boris Johnson, who had to be literally forced to take out the Huawei telecoms infrastructure out of our critical national infrastructure by President Trump in his first term. And Labour have continued this. There is no doubt at all that China, in my view, is an economic and security threat to the United Kingdom. And we should not be granting consent for that site in the City of London with its possible torture chambers or whatever. They want to strangle people economically. That's really what they want to do, and to make us utterly dependent. Just in the last couple of weeks, China has announced substantial restrictions on the exports of rare earth materials that are critical for our favourite subject, net stupid zero.
Yes. Isn't that interesting? Because I was looking at a tweet you put out yesterday where the CEO of Eon Energy actually admitted in front of a parliamentary committee that zero household prices in 2030 still will not release enough money for us to have lower bills. And so Ed Miliband's kind of, pretense that we're all going to save 300 quid a year, but we're not really sure when, basically is never going to happen. Let's have a look at the clip.
If I look at the non-commodity costs, policy costs, network costs, then certainly some of the numbers, some of the modelling that we have suggests that you could get to a position by 2030 where if the wholesale price was zero, bills would still be the same as they are today because of the increase in those non-commodity costs. There are things that I think we can do there. We can move some of those non-commodity costs, particularly the legacy policy costs, feed-in tariff, climate change levy, renewable obligations, off the electricity bill. That would help bring bills down.
So that's Chris Norbury there, the CEO of Eon, admitting that basically your electricity bill has got nothing to do with your electricity. It's got everything to do with a whole bunch of other charges.
This is why it's such a good morning, because this is a hallelujah moment. Never forget yesterday, because that is the point at which one of Britain's biggest energy bosses has confirmed that Ed Miliband is a liar. Yeah. All this garbage that renewable energy will be cheaper and that gas is responsible for the high energy prices. What he said was, because at the moment, gas represents about a third of your electricity costs, right? The rest of it is policy costs, green levies and taxes. He admitted that even if the price of gas goes to zero, which obviously is never going to happen, because of the growing carbon taxes, green levies, net zero nonsense, that actually your bills will be the same or higher in 2030. It has exposed the lie that we have been submitted to. It is a really, really significant moment.
It really is, because, I mean, people say to me all the time, even regardless of whether they're trying to save money by not switching on, the heated towel rail or not switching on the radiators or keeping, trying to keep energy prices down as low as possible, they go, the standing charge keeps going up. What's that all about? Yeah. What is that even for? And now we know the standing charge would exist even if you didn't use any electricity at all.
Absolutely. So just imagine a situation where your whole bill, let's say it's £1,000 of electricity, for an average home in an average year. Your whole bill is net zero related green levies and carbon taxes and twaddle like that and transmission costs. And that none of it is actually the core raw product of the gas used to generate the electricity in the first place.
Exactly.
I mean, it's absolute insanity. I mean, it just, I was gobsmacked, but actually delighted that the truth is coming out of the people so involved at the heart of this scam.
Absolutely right. And talking of scams, right, I've been checking this week, just because somebody suggested that I should, on the old dashboard when you look at the national grid to see where all of our energy is coming from. Yesterday, renewables contributed something like 13%. Today, I'm looking at it, and this message timed at about 7 a.m, 58.5% of our national grid electricity is provided currently by gas. Right, 12.4% is coming in as wind. Solar doesn't figure at all because there isn't much sunshine at the moment. And so, frankly, this renewable kind of dream of Ed Miliband's might as well be chucked into the North Sea and forgotten about for the rest of time.
Well, when they say that renewables will make us less vulnerable to shocks, let me just remind people there are some days of the year when in the southeast of England and London we are importing 50% of our electricity from continental Europe. If that's not vulnerable to the goodwill of Norway and France and others, then I don't know what is. I mean, the Norwegians are getting a bit hacked off with the Brits taking so much electricity and driving up prices. So we are totally exposed because of this obsession with renewables. And it's only Reform UK that will scrap net zero. And we've said to the renewable industry, don't invest any more in the latest round of bidding, what they call allocation round 7 this time round. You're conning us, you're increasing the prices, we will rip up any future contracts signed between the renewable industry and the government. We will view them as null and void invalid. You've lied to us. We've had enough. We're not going to tolerate it. So
Absolutely.
we are actively saying to people, don't invest in renewables. You will lose money. Don't invest in solar farms. We will do everything we can to stop it. Invest in gas and nuclear. It is as simple as that. And I can also exclusively reveal, yesterday at a net zero conference at the Oval in Vauxhall in London, they were absolutely distraught, and I was enemy number one because this man Tice has changed the narrative on net zero. They've been sort of basking in the fact that everyone was a glorious consensus. Well, it's all changed, folks, and we are winning.
Yeah. No question at all. I don't know whether you were able to listen to my show yesterday, but we also fell upon an exclusive, which was my diagnosis of Keir Starmer. We discovered that he's actually suffering from a psychological condition, which is called mythomania, right? Now, this is a genuine medical condition in which apparently it's characterised by a compulsive and habitual tendency to lie, often and with no clear benefit or motive. And the symptoms include compulsive lying, elaborate stories, and a lack of a clear motive, and confusion about sometimes telling the truth.
I didn't realise that you were a medic as well as a fantastic broadcaster, but that's a new one on me.
Yeah. So he's now. There's actually a meme going around characterising him as mythomania man, because he literally can't lie straight in bed. He literally can't tell the truth. We've seen him lying about China. We've seen him lying about net zero. We've seen him lying about the Middle East and the role that he played in that. The humiliation that he had to face at the weekend and on Monday with Donald Trump making a mockery not just of him but of Britain. I mean, it's absolutely shocking.
Absolutely humiliating. And now they're fibbing also about the state of the economy. I mean, Rachel Reeves is sort of creeping around the IMF summit in Washington, and all the data coming out of the IMF, their forecast, and I'm not normally a great fan of theirs, but shows that actually the UK is in a terrible state, that our taxes are going to rise over the next couple of years faster than any other G7 country, that our inflation is right up there at the highest levels, our interest rates are right up there at the highest levels, and our growth is sinking. You just touched on earlier the fact that we've basically stayed still in the latest GDP numbers, 0.1% apparently in August. I mean, that's not growth. It's not even a round of drinks. That doesn't even get you half a pint in the pub these days. I mean, it's just pathetic.
Exactly right. Richard, great to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Richard Tice, Deputy Leader of Reform UK.